Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another box opening. So we're opening another booster box for Chronicles this time around. At least for the beginning part of it, I'll be going into a little bit more detail as I open the packs and go through the cards to give you guys an idea of it. And this will also, having two openings, will give you a more general idea of what sort of quantities and stuff of different rarities, etc. you might see. So go ahead and get into it. I'm going to take a while to open this probably.
You're not on camera.
As you guys saw in the other video, it comes with the code cards here, which is pretty cool. So I really like I think I've mentioned this before, but just how zany and weird some of these cards are. So we have like Intelligent Stapler because the blue color deals with office supplies. And yeah, and so things like this that have break is pretty awesome. And they have enter effects, which is similar to Force of Will. You'll see that a lot of it does work similar to Force of Will. So you have like enter effects. Break was an old Force of Will mechanic. You have things like quick cast and the priority sequencing and how all that works is similar. So we have a lot of cats. Going with the zany stuff, we have Cloudy Powder Brush. It looks like a hummingbird, but it's made out of a bunch of powder brushes. Yeah, Melissa, I think she's doing a makeup deck or something like that.
I'm doing a makeup and sweet deck.
Makeup and sweet deck? Weren't you doing a yellow deck?
No, you first off, you said that last time too, and I said no, not yellow, and you said, oh, you don't like the yellow. Never said yellow.
So we have Extravagant Necklace. So this one actually has an ability called Last Words, where you, when the card goes to the graveyard, that's when the effect triggers, which is a kind of interesting thing to do. So like, for example, this one, you get to put a card from your hand into your orb zone face down as an orb, which helps populate your orb zone, which essentially just makes your life last longer. So building decks around that would be cool. Oh, I got my Melty Ice Cream. It's my favorite card.
It's pretty adorable.
Oscar had noted that in his packs he had trouble pulling Conjures, so we'll try and keep an eye out, see how often we pull Conjures.
What are Conjures?
They're like spells. They're just spells.
Okay.
They're called Conjures in here.
You got two.
Be Mine. No, this isn't. Oh, it is a Conjure. Oh.
I just assumed with the scroll on the bottom was a Conjure.
Yeah, it didn't look like Conjure for some reason, but Be Mine. You get to gain control of an enemy servant just permanently. It's 6 cost though. If you look at the art there, it's a cactus or something, and it's got hard eyes because it's in between her boobs, so that's cool.
First off, I want that. Second off,
we got Nebule Sully.
I don't think I pulled any Conjures.
And a Hollow. No, you pulled a lot of Conjures.
Did I? I just remember my one card. That's all I cared about.
All right. Another office space, office supply. We got Heartbreak Cupid.
It's so cute.
Another enter ability, and end of turn effects, and generic stuff. Another Conjure. Okay, Ward wants in on this. This one's just to draw 2 cards. So we got our milling through the deck. Another Conjure with break, and this one is destroy target servant. So for 5 cost, or if the break happens, you get to destroy something for free, which really helps you bounce back with the orbs. That's one thing I like about the orbs, is your ability to bounce back in certain situations, no matter how bad you're losing. And we grabbed Stella and Kira Centura. Nice. I don't think I set that aside.
You know how there's multiple level 2 spells or whatever? I don't know what anything's called.
Casters?
Yeah. You said you get 1 level 2 caster.
Yes, per box. Yeah, you're guaranteed.
Can you run more than 1?
Yeah, you're right. It's same as Force of Will, where you can run 4 of any card.
Oh,
maximum.
So you could have like all of them.
Yeah, if you wanted to. Probably wouldn't be very good.
No, it wouldn't.
We got Ouroboros, made out of gems or candy or something. I can't tell. Oh, Toxic Turkey. We had talked about this. How it's basically a drunk turkey. It looks like. Wandering Flames, Unreliable Monk. So it's sort of a squatting squid. At the start of your turn, you get to return this card to your hand. Or I don't know if "get to" is the right word, but Griffin. So he has the ability of Double Corrupt. So Double Corrupt as we had talked about if you saw in the how-to videos, is where you get to corrupt 2 of your enemy orbs instead of 1. And he has an enter ability of you get to destroy target rested enemy servant. So you get to destroy a servant. If it's rested and swing in, corrupt 2 orbs. And if you have a bunch of double corrupt servants or have way to recover your servant and attack again, different things like that could be really strong. I see I'm doing pretty good with Conjures. I got critical hit here. Has both break and quick cast. Destroy target enemy servant. That's total cost 5 or less. So that's pretty awesome. And then I got Deshi Leon and Glow Desire.
Oh, that's cool. I really like the artwork for these cards. Except for that one chick.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Let's see if we come across her. But yeah, no, the artworks are... Oh, I didn't know that. On the back of the booster packs, it actually has the rarities and how many of them there are. But yeah, no, the artwork is really cool, especially for the casters.
Are hyper rares more rare than a secret rare?
Yeah, I believe hyper rare is the naked chick, which they actually censored for the US, we found out.
US gotta ruin everything.
And so you have cool stuff like this. So switching a card is during your main phase. If the card's already on your field, you get to switch it either from reverse position to recovered or vice versa. So this card has an ability of whenever it switches, you get to draw a card. So that's kind of cool, especially since its defense is 4,000 and its attack is 2,000. It's got really strong stats, so I would think the best course of action would be put it into the field, in attack position, swing in, and then your next turn switch it to reverse position or something like that. And being able to draw a card each time you switch, especially if in your deck you run a lot of switching with the, I believe it's a caster that does that or something like that. Hard Pancake, you get to put a servant from your graveyard into your hand with its enter effect, and it has break, so you could potentially combo a lot of this stuff. Like I said, I really like the break effect with certain things, because even with just corrupting your orbs and drawing cards is good on its own because you're populating your hand, but being able to play cards for free really, well, like I said, helps with the bounce back. Phoenix here is interesting. He's a 6 cost, and at the end of turn, if he was put into the graveyard from the field, you put it into the field under its owner's control. So he's basically an unkillable, weird-looking Phoenix. The only way to get rid of it would be to, as people were pointing out, there's ways to bounce it into the orb zones or to bounce it into the caster zone, different things like that. So there are ways to get rid of it in case you're worried about that, but it's still a strong card on its own. Oh, and we got our first 4 texture here for Citra Case.
I want it.
That is really pretty. Kind of reminds me of Kill a Kill for some reason. I don't know why.
Does it remind you of the pink girl?
Kind
I
of.
don't remember her name. Well, she has
Nui
long
Harari.
hair. I mean, I guess kind of similar, except she's wearing
Brain
flower
Eraser.
petals.
This one has last words as well. You get to destroy target barrier for its last words.
Oh,
So, it's okay. So for when it goes to the graveyard, you get to destroy a barrier. So a barrier is basically like field cards, additions, and Force of Will. And so obviously destruction of those is pretty good. Although I don't see many strong ones that I'm going to be wanting to run, but maybe I missed some stuff. We got Burdog, obviously. So Lethargic Bear here. So this is a 4 cost with 4,000 attack and 2,000 defense, which is pretty strong. However, it has an ability in here called Slow Start. So in the game, when you play a servant, just all servants just by default basically have swiftness, so they can attack the same turn that you put them down. Unless you're turn player, turn 1, that's the only time things can attack. Unless they have Slow Start. Slow Start, they cannot attack that turn you put them down. You have to wait a turn. So it's like a reverse of things like Force of Will and other card games. Instead of things having to wait a turn to attack unless saying otherwise, in this game, everything attacks you the turn it goes in unless it says otherwise with Slow Start. We got some more Conjures, where you get to put the top card of your deck into your orb zone as an orb. So this is as yellow as same as the other one, so just helping populate orbs into your Athena is kind of cool. Wooden Bear here is double corrupt, and when he enters, he gets to return his servant to the owner's hand. Then we got Karela,
Is that
and
red or orange? What color is that?
that's red. And we got another textured full art for Foray Mellow. That's really pretty. Oh, look at that.
I really like their texture full arts.
Yeah, they're pretty. I'm really glad that Force of Will carried that over.
Oh, I caught another rare butterfly. I need to show Securus.
Vagrant Line. One thing interesting, real quick before I forget, for some reason I noticed the texturing on here isn't very pronounced. It kind of feels like the second print runs of Force of Will, if you've ever gotten one of the second print run boxes. However, the starter decks don't have that. The starter decks we got, the texturing is a lot more pronounced, and so I'm kind of curious why that is, if it was just sort of a weird thing with the printers, and so the next run will be all good to go with pretty good texturing. It's nothing terrible, but it's just something interesting I noticed. Vagrant Line gets to destroy enemy servant when it enters. A lot of generic, that was a lot of vanilla servants actually. Some more Conjures, where you get to bounce a servant. A Conjure, where you get to put a servant into the caster zone face down as a caster. So this is actually one of the cards I was saying that counters Phoenix, because you're able to put it into your opponent's caster zone as a caster face down, which unfortunately still gives them a way to tap for more, I forget the name of it in this game now, but more will. But at least you got rid of an attacker, which is all that matters. We got a cool looking Diablos hollow. And then Maisie Queen. She looks so happy.
Adorable. I also like the back of the cards too.
Yeah, the back looks pretty cool.
I like it more than Force of Will.
I don't know about that. So we got Godfly Wasp. He has a passive ability where you get to discard a card and engage in 1,000 attack until end of turn. And you can only play this during your turn. So it's a way to just, when you attack with him, just to make sure that you either kill a servant or your attack goes through, because your opponent is too, well, I guess they can't block, but it's just a good effect. This one, when it enters the field, your opponent reveals their hand, so it's just a nice way to get some knowledge, so you can better do plays and counter plays. Some vanilla. This one's got last words, where you get to return an enemy servant that had attacked back to its hand, so just sort of very specific bounce effect. But for 2 cost, it's not bad, but pretty bad stats. Another Conjure, where you get to return a bounce of Rested Resonator. A lot of bouncing, it seems like. And we got Kakuri Sentai and Irharo Maltz.
How many people do you think are going to insult your pronunciation of their names?
Probably just 2, maybe 3.
2?
All right, so we got our compass that has both break and enter, where you get to rest or reverse a servant. So that's cool. That usually most of the cards is just switching the position or switching to reverse. So this one being able to switch to rest as well is a nice little effect. There's some genericness, generic. We got Cactus Man. Can't attack enemy players, so I personally would never play this. I don't know. I feel like attacking the player is way too important to ever have a card like that. He can. He can block, but his defense is only 1,000, so I don't feel like it's worth it. Another destroy spell with break, and then we got Monostyla and Luna Experiment with that. I don't know how to say that, but textured full art. She has bunny ears. She reminds me of bunnies in Force of Will.
She reminds me of the girl in Ruby.
Oh, Velvet.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ruby if you guys watch Ruby.
If you don't, you should.
Season 5's pretty good so far.
We watched like 2 episodes.
Another generic one, destroy a barrier. Like I said, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like barrier is going to be too big of an issue. We have banish effects. When it enters, your opponent banishes a servant, so they're introducing banishing, and it works identical to as it does in Force of Will. Just generic breaking. This one's an interesting one because you can play it and it's 2000, and you can also discard a card, and he'll also gain 2000 attack till end of turn. So that's a really strong card potentially to help break through some of those strong cards your opponent might have. This one, it's a 1 cost where you also banish an orb to destroy a barrier. And then we got this nice pretty hollow with double corrupt and an enter effect. And then we got Tricker Heather.
Are there any specific cards that you're hoping to pull?
I mean, I'm making a deck revolving around melty ice cream, so
You're making
sweets.
a deck revolving around one card that's not even like a super strong card.
Don't worry about it. I want to make a food deck that has melty ice cream in it, and that's all I care about right now. This one's got an activate ability where you pay 1 void and it'll gain 1000 attack till end of turn, and you can only play it during an allied turn. Some more vanilla. You get to banish an allied servant when it enters. Well, not get to, but it's one of the costs. Wait there, okay. That's a cool name for that. You get to
Wait, what?
That's the name. Wait there, okay.
I love it.
Then we got Zubeji and Sierra Traverse. Yeah, I definitely want to get the orange caster though.
Level 2?
Level 1 or 2. I totally am slipping on her name. It's a very memorable name though. I hope I'll pull it and I'll let you know. Yes, you did. Messy Compact. Story of Melissa's life.
What?
Nothing. I'm not going to go through every card, as you guys can see. I'm just like ones that I want to point out, especially for specific effects, so you guys get the hang of it. This one's a pretty good one. It's 3 cost with break, and you get to search your deck for a servant and put it into your hand. So that's good. Like I said, servants are the main point of this game. If you don't have servants, you just need servants to survive and to win. The faster you can populate your field with servants, the better. We got Glory Butterfly, which is the basis of the starter deck, and Paderetta. Nice.
I don't want to do an orange deck now that I know you want it. Dead to me.
He's asleep too. I don't.
That was really crazy.
Alright. Oh, got our Nightwear. Very important. And Lazy Spirit. He has slow start as well. But it's not important for him because his main thing is his defense. So he's going to be in reverse position anyways when you play him. Crispy Cookie. I've actually found this is a very important card for a sweet deck. And Furious Dragon is a pretty awesome looking card. It's 6 cost with only 2000. However, it has double corrupt, and he gains 500 attack and defense for every allied Ignis caster. So it could potentially be decently strong depending on your deck. Here's a nice one. This is a 5 cost that destroys every single servant with a total cost of 5 or less. So we got a board wipe, which is going to be really strong, I think, in this game. So if you run a red deck, I feel like you're going to have to run that. Got Chain of Hearts and Rafina Soa. Alright, Infinity Coin with Last Words, where you get to return this card from the graveyard to your hand. So you get just, it's 3 cost, 5/5, but just that continuous servant support is really nice. Spirit Scissors with Last Words. Generic. Melissa's interrupting my theme.
What'd I do?
Some more. Oh, this is a barrier. Sophomore Slump. All servants gain slow start. So this includes both yours and your enemies, but depending on how your deck runs, this could easily run in your favor. but you just got to build your deck around it, essentially, which could work for you, could not. We got a quick cast Conjure that just says you can't be attacked with this turn. There's actually a combo going on right now, a type of deck where you run this card with some other cards and you basically create an infinite combo for you that makes it so your opponent can never battle and you just would by default win at some point.
That's dumb.
Then we got Canal and Yoshitsune.
Are there any level 3s?
Not at this point in time. I'm sure they'll introduce something like that at some point. It's a given.
That's so cute.
Ooh, Pumpkin Chariot. Gem Pouch. You get to search your deck for some jewelry if you want to make a jewelry deck. Some generic stuff. Price of Overeating. Draw 4 cards and discard 4 cards. So having stuff in your discard pile could be good if you have stuff that draws stuff out of there like we've seen before. So having this not only gives you draw power, but could potentially give you draw power out of your graveyard, depending on how your deck runs. You got 6 cost Conjure with Break, where you get to exchange control of target allied servant and target enemy servant. So that could potentially be pretty cool. Then we got Kabiria Yosha and Clara Shuri. And one thing to note in case you haven't seen our other box openings or anything like that, it is, because of the size of the booster boxes, it's nice because they're cheap, but it makes it extremely difficult to get full sets of cards or enough cards even to build a deck. So if you're wanting, I highly recommend getting the starter deck so you at least by default have something to play with. But if you want to build decks out of the booster boxes, you have to get multiple of them. Otherwise, you're just going to want to get singles depending on your deck. 1 cost Conjure with Quick Cast, we get to return target allied servant to its owner's hand. So this is great for bouncing in response to stuff. In order to, if your opponent plays something that destroys it in response, you can play this to bounce it so it doesn't get destroyed and you can just play it again, especially if it's strong or has great enter effects or continuous effects, etc. A 5 cost Conjure with Break, where you get to draw 3 cards, is potentially good. Got some pretty card, and then Almeria. We'll look into it. We're in the home stretch. Hopefully I didn't miss the breeze over the 2 cost. I don't think I did the level 2 caster. I feel like I've gotten less textures than you guys did. It makes me really sad.
Is that what this supposed to?
Yeah, I have. Conjure. With Quick Cast, we get to target enemy player banishes a servant if another servant they controlled was put from the field into the graveyard this turn. So nice combo effect. You get to return 5 cost, return 2 target servants to their owner's hands. That's potentially extremely strong. Here's the one Melissa was talking about. That's the really weird art.
Look at it. Look what.
It's super weird. Look at the thigh and then look at the lower leg. Like, how does her leg not break when she walks?
So gross.
And then Twinkle Charm. Here we go.
Is there God packs in?
As far as I've seen, no, which is a little bit disappointing. I was really hoping there'd be something like that. But those also would be, I feel like, a lot stronger in this game.
All the secret rares, ultra, whatever they all are. I forgot.
Yeah. This one's really strong. 1 cost. Call forth Conjure. Search your deck for a level 1 caster. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. This is a really strong card. If you're running blue, I would say you should always run this card. 4 of or something. Then we got Sherry and Mialari. Man, where's all my textures? I'm very sad now.
What if they are textured?
Maybe a little bit sad. Toxic Turkey. I've only drawn 1 Melty Ice Cream. I'm super sad.
I have a milk ice cream. You know.
2 cost, destroy target barriers. So we had that other one. That was a 1 cost, destroy target barrier, but you also had a banish an orb. I'd rather just run this 2 cost. If orbs are too important in the game, I feel like just paying one extra is better. We got Princess Papillon. Oh, there's our level 2. That's Orange Pecco. That's the one I was talking about where I needed it as Orange Peccos. So we got a level 2 Orange Pecco that's textured.
Oh, look at that. You got a level 2 texture.
Well, all the level 2s are textured in here. So as far as I can tell, every time you pull a level 2 in your booster box is textured. The only time they're not textured is in the starter decks. As far as I can tell. Alright. Fire Whale, Lethargic Bear again. Incite Ferocity has a Conjure that's 4 cost, and target allied servant gains 4,000 attack and double corrupt till end of turn. So obviously having both of those at the same time doesn't do you any good. It's just one or the other technically at the end of the day. But by having both of them on there basically as options, it becomes a versatile card. For 4 costs it's decent, but yeah, depends on how you're running it. Then we got Luis Ballet and Succubus. Last pack, here we go. Man, I feel like I really got gypped with the textures. I feel like you and Oscar got a bunch of them.
To be fair, Oscar got 2 boxes, so.
Melty ice cream!
Look at that.
I got 2 melty ice cream!
See, now you can stop.
Look at it!
Now you can stop being upset about your new textures. Yeah,
Sunbeam Roasting. Sage Advice. That's a lot of text. I don't like that. Oh, look at the Goblin Merchant!
I love
Hollow.
those artworks.
Oh, texture. Sunny. Awesome. So there's that. I'll be hopefully looking into making some decks here soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll lay these out for you guys. Alright, to give you guys an idea, obviously we have our level 2 texture there, and then I had gotten 4 other textures inside of the pack. Gotten a total of 4 the dark color, 4 pink, 3 yellow, 3 green, 4 blue, 3 red, and 4 orange. So it was a pretty decent spread overall of like the average of the different colors, and similar to what we had seen before, and so in our last box opening video. So it looks like it's pretty, at least semi-consistent as far as that goes. And so yeah, I feel like I'm pretty happy with this, especially getting the level 2 Orange Pecco and all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys had opened any boxes, let me know what your best card you pulled was. Obviously my favorite probably was Melty Ice Creams and the Orange Pecco here. Melissa had pulled one of the signature cards, so that's probably her favorite. But you guys pull anything good? Coming forward, we'll be doing some gameplay and hopefully some deck profiles, different things like that. So subscribe for that, or join our Discord so we can talk about it, or our Patreon where you get some exclusive content. We'll have more stuff coming there as well.